Hello everyone, welcome to Storytime with Lorenzo. Our featured book today is The Recess Queen by Alexis O'Neill, illustrated by Huliska-Beith, creatively read and adapted by Lorenzo. The Recess Queen. Mean Jean was Recess Queen, and nobody said any different. Nobody swung until Mean Jean swung. Nobody kicked until Mean Jean kicked. Nobody bounced until Mean Jean bounced. If kids ever crossed her, she'd push 'em and smush 'em, lollapaloosh 'em, hammer 'em, slammer 'em, kit-zan kajammer 'em. Say what? Mean Jean growled. Say who? Mean Jean howled. Say you. Just who do you think you're talking to? Mean Jean always got her way. Do you think Mean Jean will always be mean? Or do you think something might change? Until one day, a new kid came to school, Katie Sue. A teeny kid, a tiny kid, a kid you might scare, with a jump and a boo. But when the recess bell went ringety-ring, this kid ran zingety-zing for the playground gate. Katie Sue swung before Mean Jean swung. Katie Sue kicked before Mean Jean kicked. Katie Sue bounced before Mean Jean bounced. The kid you might scare with a jump and a boo was too new to know about Mean Jean the Recess Queen. Well, Mean Jean bullied through the playground crowd. Like always, she pushed kids and smushed kids, lollapaloosh kids, hammered 'em, slammered 'em, kit-zan kajammered 'em, as she charged after that Katie Sue. Say what? She growled. Say who? She howled. Say you, she snarled, and grabbed Katie Sue by the collar. Nobody swings until Queen Jean swings. Nobody kicks until Queen Jean kicks. Nobody bounces until Queen Jean bounces. And she figured that would set the record straight. She figured wrong. Katie Sue talked back, just as sassy as could be. She said, "How did you get so bossy?" Then that puny thing, that loony thing, grabbed the ball and bounced away. Oh, Katie Sue was one quick kid. She bolted quick as lightning. Bouncity, bouncity, bounce. Kickity, kickity, kick. Swingity, swingity, swing. Mean Jean thundered close behind. Bouncity, kickity, swingity. The Recess Queen was not amused. She raced and chased and in your face that Katie Sue. No one spoke. No one moved. No one breathed. Then from her pack pulled Katie Sue a jump rope clean and bright. "Hey, Jeannie Beanie," sang Katie Sue. "Let's try this jump rope out." Here's one thing true until that day. No one dared ask Mean Jean to play. But that Katie Sue just hopped and jumped and skipped away. Why do you think Katie Sue is not afraid of Mean Jean? "I like ice cream, I like tea, I want Jean to jump with me." Jean just gaped and stared as if too scared to move at all. So Katie Sue sang once more. "I like popcorn, I like tea, I want Jean to jump with me." Then from the side, a kid called out, "Go, Jean, go!" And too surprised to even shout, Jean jumped in with Katie Sue. "I like cookies, I like tea, I with me. The rope whizzed and slapped. Faster, faster. The rope spun and flapped. Faster, faster. Till it caught in a tangled disaster. But they just giggled and jumped again. Do you think Katie Sue and Mean Gene will become friends? Well, now when recess rolls around, that playground's one great place. At the school bells ringety ring, those two girls race zingety zing out the classroom door. Gene doesn't push kids and smush kids, lollapaloosh kids. Hammer 'em, slammer 'em, kits and kajammer 'em, 'cause she's having too much fun. Rompity romping with her friends. Bouncity, kickity, swingity. Hoppity, skippity, jumpity. Ringity, zingity, yes! Lesson of the story. The Recess Queen teaches us 3 important things. Friendship. Even if someone seems scary or unfriendly at first, they might just need a friend. Katie Sue shows us that being kind and making friends is important, even with someone like Mean Gene. Empathy. Mean Gene acts mean because she feels unhappy inside. Katie Sue helps us understand that it's important to think about how others feel. We should try to be kind to everyone, even if they seem different from us. Standing up to bullies. It's not okay for someone to be mean or bully others. Katie Sue teaches us that we should stand up for ourselves and others if we see bullying. Being brave and speaking up can help make things better for everyone. Fun fact. Did you know that recess can improve students' cognitive performance and attention span? Studies have shown that physical activity during recess helps children concentrate better in class and enhances their academic performance. So next time you're feeling tired or unfocused, remember that a little playtime can help boost your brain power. Knowledge check. 1. What is the name of the main character in the book? Mean Gene, Katie Sue, Joan, or Jeannie Beanie? The answer is Mean Gene. 2. What does Mean Gene do when kids cross her on the playground? Gives them hugs, shares her toys, bullies and scares them, or ignores them? The answer is bullies and scares them. 3. How does Katie Sue change Mean Gene's behavior? By avoiding her, by joining in her bullying, by standing up to her and inviting her to play, or by laughing at her? The answer is by standing up to her and inviting her to play. 4. Finish the rhyme. I like cookies, I like tea. I want you to blank with me. Dance, sing, jump, or run? The answer is jump. 5. What lesson do we learn from the Recess Queen? Bullying is acceptable behavior. Kindness and inclusion can overcome bullies. It's best to avoid bullies altogether. Or friends aren't important. The answer is kindness and inclusion can overcome bullies. Great job! The end. Check out my other Read Aloud videos on Storytime with Lorenzo. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe.